Hi guys, it's me, Melissa Saliva with Beacon Valley Literacy. I wanted to show you the first couple steps of a lesson that I made that I did with a student today, so that way you can get an idea of what happens in one-on-one tutoring, especially when you have a student that's older and is working on more advanced concepts. So basically, the first thing that we start with is this card pack. And we go through all the suffixes and prefixes all the prefixes and suffixes that the student knows already. We talk about the meaning, and I actually, on my end, I sort them into the ones he understands really well and the ones that we still need to work on. So that's like the first portion of the lesson. And today, what I'm going to show you is the mastery part of the lesson. It's the beginning of the lesson. It's everything that the student still needs to practice, but has a really good sense of using it. He can read it, he can spell it, and he's starting to understand the meaning. So we're starting to master these concepts. So when you have an older student, it gets a little bit more challenging. So I use this 4 steps to kind of like give them a direction of where the lesson's heading, but there's much more between these 4 steps. So the first part is practice reading these concepts that we've taught before. So this is a mixed list, and I use a mixed list when the student has more command of what they're understanding. So here's chur, ling, and word. So we practice these words, we talk about what they mean, and this should be phasing out when you start seeing a list like this. Second part is more practice. This is one of the concepts that we're still working on. So this list is not a mixed list. It's just E and X. So we practice reading these too. You practice spelling these in a different section, and we talk about the meaning of these words. The second piece of this mastery based is counter. So we've worked on counter too. And this is why this list is not a mixed list either. It's just all of the same. So that way he can very easily read them, and then we can talk about their meaning. And then I will see how well he's doing with these when he can spell them proficiently. And that's how you know. So when you have these kids that are older, their lists are more advanced. The fifth part is rote memory words. These are words that an older student maybe should memorize. They're actually sight words, but they're a little bit harder. So this is for reading, and then it's for spelling. And this is what the spelling looks like. So we've worked on this together, and you can see I gave him most of these rote words and then some practice in these other words. We made a couple of mistakes, so that's why it's written 3 times each. Um, we don't correct the mistakes. We kind of like leave it wrong, or we try to leave spell check out of it and then spell it 3 times each out loud as you write it. So that way it imprints in your brain. So this is actually the first half of the lesson. The first half of the lesson is, once again, it's reading a mixed list and then reading the concepts that we just practiced. And then it's reading words that you kind of have to memorize as an older student. And then it's also spelling. And I use the spelling to make sure I know what he's mastered and what he hasn't. So this is the first half. And then next videos, I'll explain the rest of it. Basically, this is what we do for a mastery-based, multisensory virtual lesson. So if you have any questions, or if you know anybody who might really need this kind of information or might be curious about what happens during tutoring, this is a great explanation of the first half of a hour 15-minute tutoring session. So next video will be the second half. So if you have any questions, let me know. I hope this video helped. If you're new and you're teaching, please shoot me an email, and I can explain the components of this lesson. This is basically a multisensory, systematic way of teaching kids that struggle with reading, and these kids are older, so it gets a little bit more complex. All right. I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks. Bye.